Chicago and Amsterdam with an audience who is socially distant. This is Lock Him Up! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pep Rosenfeld and Greg Shapiro!
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the folks in the theater, and hello to you folks on camera. Once again, my name is Pep.
And I am Greg.
Pretty sure at this point there's nobody that doesn't know that.
All right.
But we're super psyched to have you either live in person or streaming. In fact, a special message to the folks at home streaming. We want, and that's what. So that's why. Thank you very much. Thank
Okay,
you.
exactly. No, this is great. Well, we are live as doing the streaming, and we love you guys. So let's get started with a shout out to some people in the theater. And you guys at home, you can also say hi and play along. How many people, make some noise now, how many people have been to a Boom Chicago show before? Let me hear you. Yeah? Welcome back, some familiar faces. And now, make some noise. How many people are watching a Boom Chicago show for the first time in your lives? That's a lot, actually. That's a lot. Great. Okay. Well, we are going to be talking about one topic all night long. The show is Lock Him Up, all about the U.S. election between Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. The J is for genius. It's going to be totally great.
And look, I want to say, first of all, I want to thank you folks for being in the theater as well. We are psyched to be doing shows for a live audience. We've been doing them into the camera for so long. It's no fun. You can't tell if people are laughing. Although, to be honest, I can't tell if they're not laughing, so there's winning and loss. But it's great. I do want everybody to know there's a restricted amount of people in the room. You're safely distanced apart. We take COVID seriously. This is not the White House.
Yeah, right. And just remember what Anthony Fauci would say. Dr. Fauci just gave an interview to Dutch television last week. He was like, wash your hands, wear a mask if you can, respect the distancing, and I keep forgetting about that first one, washing hands. Are people still washing your hands properly for the full 20 seconds? Because, the American system is they tell you that there's a life hack. You have to sing happy birthday twice, and then that's the 20, like, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, and if you sing this twice through, that's 20 seconds, then you're done.
And I want to say this, it's got to be the American birthday song. In fact, Dutch people, make some noise.
Okay.
It was sad noise, Dutch people. Dutch people, you got to use the American song. You can't use the Dutch birthday songs, so the whole thing doesn't work. If you use your birthday songs, then you find yourself going like, lang zal ze leven, lang zal ze leven, lang zal ze leven in de glorie. And then just when you think you're done,
twee violen en een trommel en een fluit, want Peppy die is jarig en de vlaggen hangen.
Ah, boy, now it's time to dry the old hands.
Hoera, hoera, is de koffie nog niet klaar? Nee, 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 de koffie.
Are we done?
100 jaar leven, 100 jaar. You're never done.
No, and by the time the singing finally stops, your hands are bloody, you're out of soap, and somewhere in Asia, 2 monkeys had sex with a chicken, and now there's a new strain of the virus.
Yeah. So be careful, everyone,
use
please.
the American
20
song.
seconds, but 20 seconds only. So once again, where are my Dutch people? Make some noise, yeah? All right, and do we have any American people in the house tonight? Oh. That was like less noise than Dutch people, and they are Dutch people. What was that?
That is what it sounds like when Americans cheer in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Americans have become the new audience Germans. Because Germans used to be silent, right? Now they make noise, but 20 years ago, Germans knew that nobody was psyched when Germans were like overly excited in public. But now it's reversed. It's totally reversed.
I mean, look, when we got here, it used to be a lot more fun to say, I'm American. We got here, like, in the 1990s. We'd be like, we're American. Everybody's like, yay. And then for a while, it was boo. Yay or boo. We could deal with that. But now it's like, yeah, we're American. And we get like, oh. Like, pity? What is that? And like, pity mixed with horror. It's like if you're seated next to someone on an airplane who clearly poops himself and poops his pants. It's like, oh, I feel so bad for you. But also, get away from me, please. It's awkward.
Yeah, I'll go back to those old days. In the old days, it'd be like we'd come on stage and we're like, hey, we're American. And everybody's like, Americans, show us your gun. And it was insulting, but it was fun, right? You know, and so we'd show everybody our gun, and then we could go on and do the show. But now everybody's so negative.
Yeah. And I, Donald Trump, will not rest until all of America is positive for COVID. Totally positive.
I guess the right way to start is by mentioning that Donald Trump had COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
We're not sure because he refuses to get a test if it's gone away yet, but he had COVID-19. That was a bit of a thing.
And by the way, it is not funny, COVID-19, totally not funny. And what was I supposed to do? She said she was COVID-21. Don't look at me, okay?
We actually, because we've been, obviously you folks know about the show and the live stream, we've been sending a lot of information about it. We've been getting stuff back where people would write us and say, hey, Boom Chicago, you're going to make fun of President Trump, but this is how they type. But it's not funny that he's sick, and I hope you're not going to joke about the fact that he's sick, because, it's a serious disease. He's an older man.
Yeah.
He's, not slim. So it's a serious thing, and he could have died. He could still die from this disease, and it's not funny. To which I say, agree to disagree. I think it's super funny, right? Like I feel like here's a dude who for months is like, oh, it's a hoax, and it's going to go away, and we're going to open by Easter, and I'm going to have these rallies with no masks, and then he gets it. That's funny. And then he doesn't just have it; he gives it away to everyone at the White House, to all these other COVID deniers. That's the definition of funny. If you look up funny in the dictionary, there's a picture of Donald Trump looking out the window of his quarantine mobile.
And I mean, literally, this is a guy who spent months telling everybody, one day, like a miracle, it'll just disappear. And then, not only does it not disappear, but he gets infected himself. I'm sorry. It is kind of hilarious to us. But then again, we do take it very seriously. We did send the White House a get well soon card, and we do hope that he gets well soon. Yeah.
But hey, the good news is he's back at the White House, right? He got back last week. He immediately went up to the balcony and, took off his mask to let the world know, I'm ready to get back to the hard work of infecting the rest of my staff.
Yeah, right. He was there with his mask. He was like, don't cry for me, COVID people.
And yeah, they called it his Covita moment, right? Because he's on the balcony. It's like COVID meets Evita.
The truth is I never left you.
Yeah, you did. You went to the hospital. You should probably still be there.
I had a mild case. Such strong resistance.
You had 12 doctors and a helicopter ride.
I took my mask off, won't keep my distance.
The President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah.
So there we are, and we think he might be contagious, which I think is the reason that we're probably not going to have a second debate this week, right? Because they're, we're going to have it virtually for safety, then I'm not going to do it. Then they canceled the debate, and there's not going to be a debate, which might just be for the best, right? Like, did you all see the first debate? Anybody? Make some noise if you saw the first debate.
Yeah.
That first debate was, I think CNN put it best when they delicately called it a shit show. What a mess, and poor Joe Biden couldn't get a word in edgewise, right? Like, how bad would that be if you're trying to talk and somebody just keeps interrupting, and everything you
doesn't even let you end.
Right, and they
knows that you have a history of stuttering.
Please stop that.
Wants to take advantage of that. Apparently,
please.
It's ableist, if you would. I think, but I think the thing
you're being childish.
You're being childish. You
stop it.
No,
stop it.
You're child.
You're childish.
Who's the child?
You're child.
You're child. I'm a child.
I'm a big fat idiot.
I'm a big fat idiot, and I said it first. I'm the biggest fat idiot, and I win the debate. Thank you.
You got to say you can't blame Trump for not wanting to be at a debate. I mean, like, this dude, what's he got to run on? There's almost 220,000 Americans are dead from the pandemic. The economy's in the toilet. The West Coast is basically on fire. All he's got is that old Republican standby, law and order.
Yeah.
Or as Trump says it, law and order, all caps.
Law and order, all caps. I think this makes me sound super tough, and people super respond to it. Apparently, Trump tweets this out thinking, like, I'm like Dirty Harry. That's my brand of law and order.
You guys know Dirty Harry? Dirty Harry was this movie from the 70s, and it was Clint Eastwood, and he was like this tough vigilante cop, and like America was ready for a tough vigilante cop because there was trouble in America, right? Like the country was divided in half politically. Nobody trusted the government. There were these protests in the streets that were turning violent. Oh my God, this sounds familiar, Greg.
Yeah.
And then Dirty Harry was this like tough vigilante, and he like I don't go by the book, And it turns out that not going by the book means he's slightly racist and shoots a lot of black people.
Oh yeah.
Turned out.
And of course, the classic iconic scene where Clint Eastwood is chasing the bank robber, and he finally gets him on the ground. And then comes the question, how many bullets does he have left in his gun? And he's got that line. He's like, I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Tell you the truth, I'm having to ask myself, but yeah, do you feel lucky, punk? That's the question. Do you feel lucky? And Trump is there feeling like he's Dirty Harry as well. I know what you're thinking, because I know what so many people are thinking. Very smart, actually. You asking, don't call me dumb. Don't call me stupid. You can't even remember where you went to college. So I think very smart. And then you might, how many in my gun? I could shoot so many, in the middle of Fifth Avenue, I could shoot a guy. People would still vote for me, even if I had shots left in me. I got very good shot. I'm the best shot. So many people are saying it. And who would you rather do shots with? I mean, Joe Biden, does he even do shots? I have all the best shots. And I'm making punks feel lucky again. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so this is what we've been dealing with for literally just about 4 years now. And I think it's time to turn the page and talk for a bit about the Democrats.
Yes, interesting moment in the show, isn't it, Pep? So let's feel this out. We've got the Democrats up here, and do you remember, it feels like ages ago, that the beginning of the Democratic primaries, when we had so many candidates on stage, there were so many politicians up here, it felt like a Dutch election. I mean, it's representative of America. One of the parties has a lot of diversity. There were women and men, gay and straight, people of color. And of course, it ended up being 2 late 70s white dudes.
Right, the 2020 election, sponsored by Viagra.
Yeah. But so let's find out from this live audience how many people are excited about the front runner for the Democrats, Joe Biden. Okay.
That was a shitty cheer. That was not it's 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks till the election cheer. That was a bad cheer. That was this is how we lose elections cheer.
I don't know. All right, but okay, that was a few very excited people, and we're going to work on that. But let me just figure out why the response was so uneven. Here's another question. How many people are excited about Bernie Sanders? Give a cheer if you like Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, not a lot of energy for Bernie.
I think they see what's coming here.
Oh, the one guy who couldn't hold it in is clearly only Bernie bro in the audience, but everybody else, Bernie bros, I don't know if you know, are like, I'm Bernie or nobody for me. I'm a Bernie bro. So good on you for letting us know that. But because I personally, I like Bernie Sanders. I was a fan of Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, he's great.
Bernie Sanders is a good dude.
Yes.
He's the guy. He's the senator from Vermont. He calls himself a democratic socialist, or as we say here in Amsterdam, he's just a normal guy. And but Bernie's the one who sort of pushed the whole party to the left, right? Like when nobody was talking about wealth inequality, that's all Bernie would talk about. And by the way, you couldn't get him to talk about anything else. Like when you asked him about anything else, he would immediately steer it around back to wealth inequality.
Like, hey, Bernie, what do you like better, Coke or Pepsi?
What do I like? I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like the fact that 1% of the country owns 99% of the wealth. It's unfair, it's un-American, and I won't stop fighting until we have a revolution or until I have a stroke and die. Pepsi, it's cheaper.
Oh, okay.
A little bit cheaper.
Look, I love Bernie too, okay? But here's the thing. You gotta, he's not in the race. And maybe, if you love Bernie so much, you gotta follow the advice of Bernie Sanders and vote for the Democratic candidate, Joe Biden. Vote for somebody who's actually in the race. This is, oh, man.
Because you didn't vote for Joe Biden either.
No, and I'm sorry. I was excited about Bernie. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. I voted in the primaries, right? And that was back in March. I voted for Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. I was excited to vote for Elizabeth Warren. She's smart. She's passionate. She runs around like she's on MDMA half the time. I mean, she was just a great candidate. I think that's why her hashtag is #eWarren. I think I know what the E stands for. She was great.
So I didn't vote for Biden in the primaries either. I also voted for Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
And when Biden was made the candidate, I was not super excited. But I decided I'm going to vote for him anyway. I felt a little bit like a gay man about to marry a woman, where I was like, I'll do it. But I'm not going to have a boner for like 4 years. Neither will Joe Biden, for the record. I can guarantee you that.
But look, I get it that Joe Biden is not necessarily everybody's Prince Charming, okay? But that's the beauty part. He doesn't need to be, because he's not Prince Charming, but he is America's rebound, okay? Look, America, you need to admit you have a problem. You are in an abusive relationship, okay? And once you admit that to yourself and break up with the loser, you don't move on to Prince Charming right away. You move on to the rebound. You don't go to Barack Obama. You go to Barack Obama's number 2 guy, his wingman. That's literally Joe Biden. It's sloppy seconds. We'll take it. That should be his new nickname, Joe Biden, hashtag Sloppy Joe. We'll take it.
And it is hard to get super excited about him. I mean, you look at this dude, and you're like, this dude, you know that the sex with him is as vanilla as his whole appearance looks, right? Always missionary position, no one ever comes. But I feel like right now, America might not be getting what it necessarily wants, but America has to take what it needs, you know? Like America might be saying like, hey, I'm not looking for Mr. Right, I'm looking for Mr. Right Now. And right now, America, what you need is a designated driver. You need someone to get you home because you are, as alcoholics say, at rock bottom, right? America's at, it's got to be rock bottom, right, Greg?
I mean,
it can't get worse, right? And there's a German in the audience right now thinking, oh, it can get worse, Pep. It can get much worse.
All right. Look, I am making it my business to get excited, okay? I wasn't excited at first about Joe Biden, but I'm making it my business. What can I get excited about? After 4 years of hashtag this is not normal, you know what we need now? Normal. It doesn't get more normal than Joe Biden. He's from Scranton, Pennsylvania, for God's sake. It doesn't get more middle class and middle of the road than Scranton, Pennsylvania. Oh, Scranton. Why does that sound familiar? It's the home of The Office US. This Joe Biden is Dunder Mifflin, ladies and gentlemen. Not all of Dunder Mifflin. He's just Jim from The Office. Meanwhile, Trump is clearly coked up Michael Scott. The choice couldn't be more clear.
Hey, and I'll tell you something else. You were talking about Dirty Harry before. I think if there's somebody who reminds me of Dirty Harry, it's Joe Biden. When you look at these two guys, one of them has got Dirty Harry written all over him, right? If Dirty Harry wasn't a vigilante cop, but was more of like a vigilante grandpa. You know, it's like the vigilante grandpa going, I'm giving all the kids cookies, not by the book, you know? Like Dirty Harry Joe Biden would be like, hey, I know what you're thinking. Did you fire 6 shots or only 5? And I know why you asked that question. It's a good question. But times are tough. You can't afford bullets. You can't afford 5 bullets. Certainly not 6. And I know what that's like. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We couldn't afford bullets or a gun. My dad couldn't even afford a knife for me to get in a street fight. If I was going to tumble it up with the kids in the street, I had to use a fork. Old Joe Biden would jab you with a fork. But now I feel like, why are we fighting? We should work together. So listen. Get out there and make Grandpa's day. Like he's a great guy. He's a sweet guy.
There's no malarkey.
He's old school is what he is. He's old school. This guy is so old school that he used to take the train home from Washington, D.C. That's old school. And of course, the Dutch people are going, I don't know, that sounds like current day school. But of course, in America, like the only time you find yourself on a train is if you're playing Red Dead Redemption and you're about to rob it, right? But like, yeah, you said malarkey. He's this like middle-class guy who uses like weird middle-class talk. Like, oh, come on, man, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Yeah, and Dutch people are like, okay, I've been studying English for most of my life, and malarkey is a word that you have clearly just made up. That's a made-up word.
Yeah, well, I didn't make it up, but Joe Biden might have.
Yeah.
Malarkey, as I understand it, is Joe Biden talk for bullshit, right? But it's like one of those sweet words. It's like it's old and it's sweet, and kids can't quite understand it. It's actually much like Joe Biden himself.
Yeah.
So he's always like, oh, that's a bunch of malarkey. He says malarkey so much that during the primaries, he would drive around on a bus, which was the no malarkey bus. And he had no malarkey written on it in big letters. And you knew, well, on that bus, there's no malarkey. You know, as opposed to Trump's bus, where there's no Melania.
Oh,
The last thing I feel about Biden that excites me is I feel like the country's broken and we need somebody who can fix stuff. And you know Joe Biden is the kind of middle-class guy who's got like tools in his garage and fixes things. You know what I mean? Like if he needs a shelf, he makes a shelf. If I need a shelf, I go to like the shelf store and buy a shelf and the dude installs it. But I feel like if I told that to Joe Biden, I'd be like, hey, Joe Biden, I'm gonna buy a shelf. He'd be like, buy a shelf? Come on, man, you know that's a lot of malarkey. Tell you what, give Grandpa Joe some wood and some nails and lickety-dickety-doo, and boom, there's your shelf. You can put your glass lamp right on the shelf.
Grandpa, that's not my glass lamp. That's my marijuana bong. What, do you want to smoke some weed, Grandpa?
No, I'm rolling from some of Elizabeth Warren's ecstasy. Why do you think I'm always smiling?
Oh, okay. So I don't know if that helps. If you're not excited about Joe Biden, I hope that helps you get excited about Joe Biden. And even if you can't get excited, you need to settle for Joe Biden, just like this entire Twitter account, Settle for Joe Biden. It is a Twitter account made up by followers of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. I believe you can find it at #SettleForBiden. Yes, Settle for Biden. They might find Joe Biden uninspiring, but he has my vote. Settle for Biden.
Absolutely.
Yes.
My man's a play. He can settle for Joe. Absolutely, he can settle for Joe Biden. So look, folks, we said there's probably not going to be this second debate. We would love there to be a debate, but if there was to be a debate, we would want it to be a debate where you could actually hear the candidates talk, not at all like the first one. So we thought what we would do is we would improvise a debate between the candidates, and we need some help from both the folks in the audience and you folks on the live stream, and that is we're looking for questions you would ask both candidates. Now, they should really be questions that you would ask both candidates. So, like, if your question is, how come your wife won't have sex with you, you orange-skinned oaf? Then that might be a little bit more for one candidate than the other. Yeah. So we want them for both candidates. So if you're at home, you put it in the chat, and Biddy's going to take a look at that, and she'll tell us the good ones, although if she doesn't take yours, it's still good. Joe Biden thinks it's a great one. But for you folks, you think of questions here in the theater as well. But for now, let me introduce to you the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's so great to have everybody here and this wonderful wallpaper behind me, which is apparently made up words that, I don't know, I think they're written by a crazy person, obviously. But so, I just want to say thank you so much for, I mean, I can feel the love, you can feel me in the room as well, and you might want to put a mask on, I'm just saying. But anyway, I may have tested positive, I may have tested negative, but we clearly need to change things up for this new debate. We need more humanity, we need more empathy, because humanity and empathy are both contestants in the Miss Universe contest, and they're so perky. When I peek in on them in the dressing room, they're so great. So I don't know, I feel like I'm a changed person. The roid rage is fading right now. But it's going to be totally great as we say, welcome to the worst ever candidate. Please welcome Sleepy Joe Biden, okay?
Hey there, how you doing? How you doing? Settle for me, huh? All right, well, you're going to call me Sleepy Joe. If that means, if by Sleepy Joe you mean that the American people can finally get a decent night's sleep, then I can live with that. But for now, you think of me as Smiley Joe. Smiley Joe for two reasons. One, if you get too mean and jerkish, I'm just going to smile and chuckle. Two, back in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I saved up all my nickels and dimes for 27 years to afford these false teeth. You're damn right I'm going to show them off.
All right, can we get some questions from the audience? Let's get to our live audience first, okay? Just yell it out. Go ahead.
Just shout it out.
What are you going to do if you don't get elected?
There
what
we go.
What are you going to do if you don't get elected?
A great, strong, brave female voice. The first question. Applause for the first question.
Well done.
It's
well
always
done.
difficult to get the ball rolling. So that was a female voice. Should we get a real question, like a male?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
What was the question again?
The question was, what are you going to do if you don't get elected president?
Okay.
If I don't get elected, I can answer this right now. If I don't get elected president, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a concessions call, and I won't do that until all the votes are counted, free and fair election. But if they are counted, and I am the loser of this election, I'll do two things in rapid succession. One, I will call up this man right to my left, and I will say, Donald Trump, you won in a fair election. Two, I will die. My heart will stop, and if it doesn't stop, I will reach into my own chest and squeeze it till it turns off. Wow. And he's your problem. If you don't vote for me, you get him.
Okay, well, sorry, I will actually answer the question now, if that's okay, Joe. I think I would like to answer the question.
Answer the question.
I'll do something,
no one's stopping
okay. I mean, what will I do if I'm not elected president? Remain president. It's very simple, okay? I will say this, whatever the outcome of the election in November, I guarantee I will congratulate the true winner, Vladimir Putin. Thank you. Okay, next question. That's a great question. You should pat yourself on the back for that question. Now then,
Biddy, do we have any questions from the chat?
Go ahead.
we have a lot of
Also, what's
great
the
ones.
chat? I don't understand it.
Okay, I'll let you Google that later, bye.
Okay.
We have a couple great ones from the chat. One that I found really interesting from Mr. Sniffin. If America were a single person in a bar, what would you say to win them over?
Mr. Sniffin.
Win them over. Oh, very woke. Okay.
Nice. You like the pronoun use for Mr. Sniffin?
I mean, I would say, what would I do to win him over or her over? They're two very different questions, I think. If it's a her, then I would just grab him, because if you're famous, they let you do that. But if it's a him, I think I would say, what do you think of my hair? And then you know what you're working with. So my hair is perfect. And, I think I respect so many people. They say you don't respect minorities. I say there's one minority, the minority whose hair is always perfect, and they definitely respect this hair. That's all I have to say. Okay, go ahead.
I got to call you on that one because I'm pretty sure nobody respects that hair. Now, look, here's the thing. Mr. Sniff, that's a great question. Congratulations. You should shake your own hand right now for coming up with such a good question. The old, what would you say to the person in the bar question. That's fantastic. I would go up to the person in the bar and I'd say two things. First thing I'd say is, listen, I don't care if you got a hat on that says I love America, you got a hat on that says MAGA, or you got no hat on, or you got one of them yarmulke hats that Jewish folks wear. Whatever your hat is, I would ask you honestly, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And if you say no, I'd say vote for me. If you say yes, I'd realize you have a handicap in your brain, and I'd get you some help, because my health program is going to help you with mental illness. And if you feel like you're better off and you're not an undertaker or an unemployment insurance person, then I can't help you except with mental health. Second thing I'd do is I'd offer to have a drink with you, because this asshole don't drink.
I don't drink. He does drink. I take Adderall. Does that count? And I don't take it. I crush it and sniff it. So
Well,
I
that's
think
totally different.
that's
That's
for you,
different.
Mr.
That's different.
Sniffin.
That's different.
Okay?
That's different.
Sniff it up. It's the best way.
All right, what
Next
else we got there,
question.
Biddy?
We got a couple
Although you're doing a great job with that microphone. Some folks hold it too far, we can't hear it. You got it right there.
Right in the middle.
Good work.
Thank you.
You're smart.
Pretty creepy, Joe.
I didn't smell her
Just
hair.
saying.
I didn't smell her hair.
I have two more great ones. One from Ray Me. How are you going to beat this pandemic?
I'm going to beat this pandemic from
I
Ray
think-
Me?
Ray Me.
Ray
As in
Me.
Do Ray Me.
Do Ray Me. Do
Okay.
Ray Me.
Well,
It's like the song.
I think that we are going to win. We are already winning. I mean, we need to be winning. We love to be winning in America. And we are winning against this pandemic, okay? Who has the most COVID cases in the world? We're number one, okay? Fatalities from COVID, and I mean, Joe likes to say it. We're like, what, 2% and the world's population, 40% of the COVID death. I think those are great, great numbers, and that is something we can all be very proud of, because we are number one. Thank you.
Both of those numbers were wrong, Mr. President. Now look, here's how we're going to beat
No,
this
they're
thing.
not.
First
That's what you
thing you got to do.
I think.
First thing you got to do to beat this. Are you going to do this? You're going to do this now?
No.
First thing you're going to do to beat the pandemic is you got to give it an inch. You give it an inch, and then you take a mile. So you give it one patient, and then if that patient dies, believe me, our problems will be solved real quick. Give an inch, take a mile. That's what we're going to do. It's called cooperation. It's the American way.
Science. I'm Joe Biden. I like science.
I do like science.
Okay.
I like science.
I mean, at this point, it would take a miracle, and like a miracle, it will just go away. That's
Look,
my
we got
prediction.
one last question. How about a question from in the house? These
Go
folks
ahead.
here right in front of us. How about one more question? Make it a good one, but I got a hunch they're all pretty good.
Come on.
What can minorities expect from you?
There we go. What can minorities expect from me? I mean, I think
from
you
us
already
both.
know. I think no president has ever done more for black people than, except maybe Abraham Lincoln. And by the way, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, don't forget. And so, and by the way, the fact that Abraham Lincoln is now spinning in his grave, if we can harness that energy, I think, and who says I'm not green and I believe in harnessing energy from dead presidents rolling in their grave. Thank you.
I'm pretty certain I can't have a better answer than the spinning in the grave Lincoln question, but here we go. Here, your question is
What can minorities expect from you?
look, I've already given more jobs to minorities than he has just in nominating Kamala Harris is my vice president. I got like 3 birds in one stone. I feel like I'm already doing my part. That sounded a little old school, didn't it? That didn't sound like woke Joe. That sounded like hair sniffing Joe. Sorry. I'm an old man, and sometimes, like the hair sniffing, I only sniffed hair back when it was okay to sniff hair. It's kind of like Dutch people and Zwarte Piet, you know? It's bad now, but back then it was kind of fun. But it's bad now, so we don't do it. Hair sniffing, it was good, but now it's bad.
I don't know. You used to be able to spray stuff in your hair, and now you can't. What is wrong with that? You just spray, and then, don't spray it outdoors. I spray it indoors. Is that so wrong? I mean, and people say, but I am harnessing renewable energy.
This is the nonsense that I wish, you say that you wish like a miracle would just disappear. I wish you would just disappear like a miracle. That would be a miracle if you would disappear. Yes, look, you lied, you cheat, you steal. What do you got to say for yourself?
You just got corona.
God damn it.
Folks.
Big gong.
I mean, that's how we would hope a debate would actually go. But I mean, look, we just had a debate this past week. And how many people watched the debate with the vice presidential candidates? We got Mike Pence and Kamala Harris. Yeah? People excited about Kamala Harris? Oh my God. We're pretty excited ourselves. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, there's so much to like about Kamala Harris, but let's just start with the fact that Kamala Harris is not Mike Pence.
Yeah, we're not.
Right? Mike Pence. I mean, what a terrible human being is Mike Pence. We had a picture of Mike Pence. I'd love to see Mike Pence's snappy looking. Oh God, look at that. You just want to spit right in his face, right? You want to look at him. He's got like that furrowed brow. I'm listening very carefully to you, and everything I say is bullshit, but I say it so earnest that you know it comes from my cold, cold heart. Mike Pence is known for 3 things: kissing Donald Trump's ass a lot, being like super duper religious. Oh, I won't sit down with women unless they're my wife, which is weird. And 3, he's so homophobic that it makes you kind of wonder what's going on there. Methinks the vice president doth protesteth too much.
Yeah. See, we didn't even mention the fly. Ha ha! But look, let's go back to Kamala Harris.
Flies, no shit.
Yeah, but you gotta say, Kamala Harris. Look, we get back to Kamala. She is, again, like the representative of what America looks like right now. She's a second-generation immigrant, which I think is great. She's got one parent. The father was from Jamaica, and the mother. I'm just saying the word Jamaica, how they say the word Jamaica.
Don't do that accent.
Her mother was also an immigrant from India.
Hey.
I was saying the word
Apu
India.
problem from the
There's
Simpsons.
no Apu
Stop
problem.
It.
I'm saying the word. Now, Kamala herself, her accent sounds nothing like either of her parents. She's more California, laid back, and she sounds like...
Greg, are you a white man about to do an impression of a black woman?
No, Pep, that would be inappropriate. You should clearly do it.
No, Greg, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. I've learned, since Black Lives Matter, I've learned that it's not enough just to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. And it's not enough to be politically correct. You have to be woke. So I am woke. I realized I was sleepwalking through my white privilege and my unconscious bias, but now I am woke, and I will never go back to sleep. Woke. Woke individual, I am woke.
Okay. And we
never
both
sleep again. Woke.
So we want to be woke. We want to be not just, woke. We don't know what to do now. Maybe we should just not mention her for the rest of the show and then leave her voice unrepresented in the show because we just happen to be white men.
Hang on. Just happen to be white men? Oh, Greg, your white privilege is embarrassing. Greg, we don't just happen to be white men on this stage. First of all, we're not even just white men. We're white Jewish men. So we own the media, including the theater.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're laughing, I assume you're Jewish too.
Oh, boy.
No, Greg, we don't just happen to be white men. Of course we're white men on the theater stage. In fact, being so woke, I have to note, I don't think we're the only ones at fault. I believe shame on the audience for being here to watch a show with just 2 white men on stage. Shame on you, you enablers. What allies are you?
Okay. Well, so anyway, now we're not sure what we should do about mentioning Kamala in the show because I feel like I don't know what to do and I can't do anything anymore.
You're confused and self-censoring, and you don't know what to say?
Yes.
Congratulations, you are woke.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess it's true. I've been focusing so much on all these microaggressions that I seem to forget to focus on the macro aggressions of like having a white supremacist in the White House. And also, a lot of people who are focusing on self-censorship and second-guessing themselves forget to do that other thing. What is it? Oh yes, vote! That's what really counts. Just sending an angry tweet, it turns out that does not count.
No, you got to vote. That's really the thing. And if you haven't voted yet and you're in the States or you're American here, get that vote in so it's counted. It's America. We're the land of, majority rule. Or are we? Because you always hear the Republicans talking about, we've got this mandate. The mandate means that, we're a majority of Congress and the majority of the country is behind us. That's our mandate to leave. We've got a mandate. Or do they?
Yeah. I mean, let's take a look at the Senate, for example, where the Republicans, with the mandate, have 47% of the popular vote of all Americans, but 53% of the seats in the Senate. That's a mandate.
What about in the White House? In the White House, like Republicans have run the show for many, many years, on and off, and yet they've only actually won the popular vote in 1 out of the last 7 presidential elections. Mandate?
Also, the Supreme Court, where, if Trump has his way, 5 of the Supreme Court justices will have been appointed by presidents who got a minority of the popular vote. So, is that a mandate?
No, the only mandate I see is the one that Mike Pence so desperately denies wanting to go on.
Ah, yes. And so majority rule is actually more like minority rule. And minority rule is a term that we should use way more often on the Republicans because they hate minorities. They don't like it when you call them that. Minority rule.
That's why, by the way, that's why it's not enough just to win this election. We have to super duper double win the election.
Yeah.
We have to extra super duper double whammy win the election.
Yeah, and I mean, the poll numbers look good right now, but we have to be afraid of a lot of misinformation out there. It is pretty bad right now. It's like the tweet said, oh yeah, did we have that tweet? Remember when we, before the internet, we thought that the cause of stupidity was the lack of access to information? Yeah, turns out it wasn't that. So it's never been more important to be able to tell fact from fiction, information from disinformation, and with that in mind...
there's a $1 billion misinformation campaign happening as we speak on Facebook, right? And it's bots, and it's amateur trolls, and it's professional trolls that work for Putin himself, like Trump. It's a lot of misinformation out there, and so what we want to do is we want to help you take a look and see how good you are at looking at finding the truth in a sea of bullshit. And to do that, who follows the news a little bit? Who follows the news? Who follows the news? Hands up, you follow the news. Yeah, you got a half a hand up.
There we go.
You follow the news pretty good. What's your name?
Ted.
Ted. Yeah. Everybody, give Ted a round of applause. Ted, we're going to bring you a microphone.
All right,
Don't go anywhere, Ted. Don't go anywhere. We're going to bring you a microphone because you're going to be the contestant in the game show called Spot the Truth.
Let's light it up. Here we go. Spot the Truth.
Spot the Truth.
That is great. We worked so hard on that logo. It looks so great. Well done. All right. So, Ted. Hi. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Ted.
Hi.
Ted.
How else would you say it?
I don't know. If it's Dutch, it would be more Ted. You're not. But where are you from, Ted?
England.
England. Okay. How long have you been over here?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. And how are you feeling about your choice now that Brexit is going off the rails?
I mean, I didn't choose Brexit.
Oh, no, you didn't. Okay. You're good. You can stay. Anyway. But so you said you watch the news, or you follow the news, yeah?
A little bit.
What are some of your news sources?
BBC.
BBC, okay.
Yeah.
The Beep.
Oh, mainstream media, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Bit of Bloomberg sometimes.
Bloomberg sometimes, and social media. What have you got?
I don't really do social media.
Not social media. Ooh,
No.
okay.
Interesting.
That seems good. Okay, well, so here is the challenge for today. We are going to show you 5 different news items that I have found in mainstream media and also social media. You may have seen some of these yourselves. You may have shared some of these yourselves, but they are not all true. In fact, most of them are disinformation. So your job is to spot the truth, and out of 5 possible options, there are 2 true ones. Let's see if Ted can spot the truth. Sorry, yeah. All right, item number 1, we've got, I'm not supposed to make it too over the top. Here we go. But we got item number 1. Are we ready to go? Item number 1 is this tweet from Monica Lewinsky when she tweeted, "I am willing to personally take one for the team and give Trump a blowjob in the Oval Office. Apparently that's the only thing that can convince Republicans to impeach." That is A.
So that's A. B is a quote from Donald Trump in 1998, and that quote is, if I were to run, I'd run as a Republican. They're the dumbest group of voters in the country. People magazine, 1998. Is that true?
Okay, B. Here is C. This image of Donald Trump is photoshopped. This image is photoshopped. That is C.
Is that true or is it not true? Item D is there was a story in the news that Democrats were encouraging other Democrats to deface Trump-Pence posters so that they had kind of like a dick joke. It was a deface these and make a dick joke out of it. Is that true or false?
That was D, and here comes E. Starbucks was sending out, or they were distributing Islamic donuts for World Peace Day. Starbucks, in fact, got in trouble for offering Islamic donuts for World Peace Day. Those are your 5 options, and yeah, we got A through E up here, and yeah, you can see those on the big screen right.
So Ted, you're looking for the 2 that are true. Now here's the thing, you don't have to, you can ask the audience. Also, you can ask the chat. If folks want to give him some advice on the chat, you can do that, and Biddy will tell you what they're saying, only if you want, or maybe you think you don't need anybody's help. And then you should run for president.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all so believable.
They are believable, indeed, and that's why it's so difficult, and that's why we've never needed more critical thinking, Ted. Yes, but do you have a guess, first of all? Which is true?
I'd like some help, but
That's what we're here for.
I think B is true.
We think B is true.
B is
okay, and are we locked in? Would you like to lock in B? Okay.
I think he's locked in.
B is what? Yeah.
What do you think, audience? What's the other one?
C.
You think A?
He said it's not photoshopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have B and C.
If C is true, it is photoshopped. If C is true, it is photoshopped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then that's a lie. Then don't
Sorry,
pick C.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll listen to the audience on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a lot of B and C votes. What do you think, Ted?
Well, he already said B.
Yeah, B is locked in.
All right. Need an answer.
Oh my God. What did people
The
think?
stakes are high. There's no prize and no penalty.
Oh, we'll go for D. B and D.
B and D.
I'm listening
Good
to my friend
guess.
here.
All
Thank
right.
B and D locked
Are
in.
we ready?
Locked
Let us
in.
reveal the answers. B and D gets you. That gets you 1 point because yes, D is true. Applause for Ted. He found one true thing.
We're going to go through them and explain to you why they're either true or not true.
Yes.
We
A.
begin with A. I don't know if you know this about Monica Lewinsky. She has a sharp tongue on Twitter. She's fantastic. This should have been true. She just happened not to say it. And by the way, since it's a lie, I just want to put this out there. I will suck his dick if that will get him impeached. I will do a good job. I will suck 2 practice dicks to get it right. Like I want him gone.
Next up, we've got B, and yeah, B, yeah, close call.
Yeah, it just turns out he didn't say it. Again, it seems like one of those things he'd say. By the way, I saw a fake quote from Hillary Clinton that said the exact same thing 4 years ago, but about Democrats. But it turns out that is not true.
But you're right, it could have been true. It really, I mean, it's almost like, isn't it something he would say?
Yeah,
I feel like
Greg,
you should get partial credit.
There's no credit. It's not true.
It could be true, though.
But it's not true.
It could be.
Why do you want this to be true?
Because I shared it on social media without fact-checking it first, and I thought it was true. All right. Next up, we have the photo, and that is true because this is the original and the fake. It was the photographer himself who put the layer over this, and he thought he was helping. And then everybody said, oh, it's totally fake, and it turns out it kind of was. Then the photographer put a different filter on and said, I will clear up this whole thing. He put on a black and white filter, and that made it even worse. It looked like Donald Trump was getting ready for the Dutch holiday of Sinterklaas. Pretty bad.
All right, then there's D. D, that is true. Democrats were encouraging other Democrats to deface this into a dick joke.
Yeah, and how do they do that? Well, if you just have a little bit of blue paint, you can make Trump Pence say, I pump penis.
By the way, as soon as Mike Pence heard the news, he was like, who pumps penis? Who's talking? Who said what?
And finally, you did get that one right, but the last one was also correct that you didn't choose this one because the donut is a false piece of information. It is not true. In fact, if you look closely, it's not Arabic. It is a different language called Elfish from Lord of the Rings. Yes. It is one donut to rule them all. So that was not true either. That means you got 1 point. 1 point for Ted. Pretty well done.
Round of applause for
Congratulations. Well done. So just remember, when you are sharing stuff out there, there's so much that's awful and shocking. There are so many true things that are perfectly shocking, but not every shocking thing is necessarily true. For example, let's take one look back at this tweet about the Islamic donut. Yeah, you can see that Carrie, what's her name, said, oh, can we confirm Starbucks is now offering these free Islamic donuts to your kids to promote Sharia law? And if you can see, the giveaway is, it's not Sharia law. She said Shakira law, which is slightly different.
This is one instance when it turns out Shakira's hips did lie.
All right, folks. So here we are in the middle of, just a few more weeks for the election. It's kicking into high gear. The whole world is watching. The whole world is taking part as well. We've got Russia that is interfering. I mean, it's proven. Even the Republicans admit, yeah, Russia is interfering in the election to help Trump. But this time, there's a twist. China is also interfering to hurt Trump. And here we are, caught in the middle. I don't know about you. I'm just hoping that the Chinese hackers are better than the Russian hackers. Let's support the Chinese Chinese hackers 2020, everyone. Yes, I'm getting a Huawei phone right now.
Man, I'll get myself a TikTok account if that'll help.
Yeah.
God damn, huh? China versus Russia. It's like a proxy war in America. Oh my God, it's a proxy war in America. Oh no. In the Cold War, of course, America fought proxy wars against Russia and China in third world countries like Vietnam and Korea, because we were like, we can't fight each other. That could get nuclear, so we'll fight these third world countries because they're third world countries. Fuck those guys. But now, China and Russia are fighting the proxy war in America. We're the proxy country.
That makes us the third world.
Are we the third world country,
Third
Greg?
world country. I mean, judge for yourself. You can look at the airports in countries like Vietnam, where, a generation ago, the wars were fought. Now they've got this airport in Saigon, now Ho Chi Minh City. America has this for an airport, LaGuardia, at the #1 city, New York. The only thing missing from this photo is like chicken cages. My God.
Oh no, that can't be a new photo because Donald Trump promised he was going to rebuild the airports, right? Oh wait, that's right. He was a master builder that turned out that he can't actually build things, and he's a master deal maker that doesn't make deals, and he thought nobody would notice, but people are noticing, as seen in this video.
You're out of control. That you can't focus. That you're mentally and physically weak. That you hide in your bunker, scared and shaky. One last big payday before you go down. With so many leaks, you probably think it could be anyone. So many leaks. Donald, it could be anyone. It's everyone.
Oh, I love the Lincoln Project.
The Lincoln Project are so mean. It's everyone.
It's everyone.
Oh, and Donald Trump is already paranoid. And now they're making him hear voices. More voices.
Like, he's already hearing it because of the roids. I mean, he's so hopped up on steroids and Adderall, he already hears voices.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Project makes it worse. You know how Michelle Obama said, like, hey, remember, when they go low, we go high. Lincoln Project, thank God, did not get the memo.
Oh, man. These guys, I mean, and they are so smart about it. Have you seen this? They actually buy the ad time with the television shows they know Trump is going to be watching on Fox News. And they limit their ad buy to the market where they know the president will be located in D.C. or in Florida or in Bedminster. They know he's going to be watching. That's why they call it the Lincoln Project. They're aiming at the president's head. Now, to be clear, we are not saying anyone should take aim at the president's head. Clearly, let these guys who are never Trumpers, they will do the work, and maybe he will aim at his own head.
I could shoot myself in the head on Fifth Avenue, and nobody would care.
They would still vote for me. It's so great. But also, I mean, look, we need people who are willing to punch below the belt. Mike Bloomberg as well. But we'll take the shy Trumpers. We'll take the never Trumpers. These guys are never Trumpers. We have to be worried about these shy Trumpers. I mean, we got Bloomberg, who is there, who used to be like a Republican, and now he's putting his money where his mouth is, which is great. But these shy Trumpers, like the poll numbers look good right now. But that's the thing. People lie to the pollsters. And that's what we have to worry about, right? We've got never Trumpers, we've got rabid Trumpers, but then the shy Trumpers are the ones who are also known as fucking liars, okay? And I know you know some of these people who are like, oh, I hate Trump. Oh, he makes me sick. He's so disgusting. But my stock portfolio is doing pretty well right now. And every time he tweets, it's a disgrace. Oh, I hate Trump more than anyone, but I wouldn't want my taxes to go up anymore. They are dumb enough to vote for Trump again, but they're smart enough to not mention it in public. So that's why we do need people like Mike Bloomberg who are willing to put up entire billboards just to get in president's head. Like Donald Trump went broke running a casino. Put it up in Las Vegas. You know, a casino, the building where the house always wins. Donald Trump managed to fuck up being the house. He lost the house, he lost his casino, and I mean, the next one was Donald Trump cheats at golf. What? Who cares? Donald Trump cares because he knows that Mike Bloomberg was there while he was cheating at golf. This is what we need.
Greg, the best one, though, is the one that he put up that said Donald Trump's wall fell down. Like, what his wall fell over. And it's true. I don't know if you saw it in the news, but his wall really did fall over. And the best part, the thing that must really piss off Trump when he thinks about it, is that it fell over onto the Mexican side. So, like, not only did they not pay for it, but then they get to keep it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
So
So we got all these people contributing to the election, and it seems like it's hopeless. Oh, the Russians and the Chinese and Bloomberg and blah blah blah. It's not hopeless.
No.
We have a democracy, and in fact, I would like to raise a toast to our powerful yet fragile democracy. So please, everyone, raise a toast. I don't have much left.
Sure.
But we'll raise a toast.
And in fact, we have some beers here. Oh, let's do that. I want to give away these beers in the name of democracy. We are going to give away a couple of beers to someone here tonight. Exactly. And we're going to do it in an American-style election. How about that? Yeah.
That's great.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what we'll do is we'll take a vote, and whoever gets the most votes, they get the beer. But here's the funny thing, is that in some American states, swing states, the ones that could go Republican or Democratic, but some of them are run by Republican state governments, and they get to make the election rules. So you know what we're going to do for fun? We're going to play by Republican election rules.
Yeah.
It's going to be super fun, but at the end of the day, everyone gets a vote, and whoever gets the most votes gets the beers.
All right. So, that is super great. We're going to make sure who gets the votes, who gets the beers. And let's do it. Can we have everyone stand up right now? Everyone stand up.
Stand up.
Go ahead. We're going to do this American style.
You can bring your drink with you while you stand.
Sure. There we go. All right. And we just need to check a couple of things about the voting population.
No, Republican rules, checking, that's all.
Everybody's standing. Okay, so just a quick Q&A. Hands up, how many people live in a major city? Like over 1 million people. So Amsterdam does not count. Yeah? How many people live in a city that's like, Chicago has about 3 million people. Anyone?
Ooh.
Yeah? If you're living in a large
I'm just
city.
curious, how many live in Amsterdam?
Yeah?
Well,
Yeah.
so it's either everybody or nobody. I go with nobody.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. If you live in a city that is over like 1 million people, then you have to sit down, right? Sit down, because big cities, that's where Democrats live. Yeah. And in all the Democratic cities in 2020, a lot of the polling places and voting centers are being closed, so you can sit down.
But the thing is, for the record, if you did have to sit down because you live in a big city, don't worry about it. It's still an American election. We want you to vote, so you just write down your vote and mail it in. We've put post office boxes, mailboxes all around the room.
Yeah.
And you can just mail your vote in, and then we'll know if you want the beer.
Oh, wait, Pep, I'm sorry. No, you have to stay seated because, Trump's head of the U.S. Postal Service, he's been removing all the post boxes in the middle of a pandemic, specifically so people can't mail in their votes.
Oops,
sorry. Okay, next up, hands up. How many people have moved house in the past 6 months? If you moved in with a boyfriend or girlfriend, you've moved house, or in the past year, that is you, that's great. Okay, you can sit down. Yeah, sit down. There you go.
Who's moved in the last year?
Yeah.
Are you debating it? Do you think? What do you think? Yeah,
You can sit down.
Yeah, sit the fuck down.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the thing is, when you move and you live in a southern state, it's tricky because, they keep these voter rolls where the registered voters are listed. But if you move, it confuses the list. And so what they do is they just cross you off the list.
Yeah.
And then you show up to vote because they don't tell you you're crossed off the list. You show up to vote and they say, sorry, you're not registered, because they're so efficient at crossing people off lists. Funny, Republicans aren't so good at pandemic response or a hurricane relief, but when it comes to crossing people off the voter list, they're awesome.
Very efficient, yeah. Okay, next up, how many people have a photo ID? You all should have a photo ID, yes? If you don't have one, you have to sit down. How many people don't have a photo ID, right? And by the way, in the Netherlands, you have to have a government-issued photo ID. That's fine. But in some states, you need to have the right kind of photo ID. Like in Texas, you can vote with a concealed weapon permit, but not a student ID, right? So, yeah, that's great. Also, in the state of Wisconsin, you can vote, unless you are one of the 200,000 people who weren't allowed to vote for having the wrong kind of ID in 2016. And Trump won that state by only 23,000 votes. So, hey, you be the judge. But anyway, whether you're voting in person or mail-in ballots, please be careful because you might run into concerned citizens at the voting place.
Now, hey there, I'm a concerned citizen.
Yeah.
And I'd like to take a look at some of these IDs. I'm part of Trump's army. During the debate, he said he wanted concerned citizens to sign up for Trump's army and watch the polls. And I think I know that when Donald Trump says watch the polls, he means grab your gun and get between the voting booth and black people. So I'd like to see, so who's got an ID? Show me your ID. You got an ID? Let's see your ID, Ted.
Okay.
Come on, Ted.
Okay.
Come on,
All
Ted.
right. Hey.
Where's your, and I got to warn you, if I don't like what I see on that ID, I'm going to throw your ass out. You don't get your money back, I'm going to take your date home with me.
Hey, Pep, jeez. Pep, I gotta say, that seems very intimidating.
Well, you see, Greg, it's called voter intimidation, and I was acting.
Pep Rosenfeld. Okay. But wait. Yeah, there we go, Pep. But hold on. Voter intimidation, isn't that still illegal?
Well, Greg, it was illegal until it became legal again in 2018 when a court said voter intimidation, that's the American way.
Oh, well. How many people have ever been arrested? How many people have ever gotten a ticket from the police? How many people have a record of that? Anyone? Yeah?
Nobody's got a ticket from the police?
Yeah.
Ticket from the police.
Nobody's ever had a ticket? He's already seated. Yeah, you can sit down. I don't like the guilty look on your face. No, sorry. All right. No, if you have a criminal record, obviously that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're arrested for a felony and you're convicted of a felony, then in some states you lose the right to vote, and sometimes in some states you never get it back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if it seems like we're trying to make it so a lot of people can't vote, Republicans are great at making it so a lot of people can't vote. It's called voter suppression, and they're great at it. But here's the thing, they're subtle. They always are subtle. They've always been subtle. In the old days, it was super subtle. It was like, if you got to vote, you have to own property, or be a man, or not be a slave, like super subtle. But since 2013, when the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act, I can kind of say whatever I want. So let's narrow this down a bit. First of all, the Constitution is clear: one man, one vote. All women sit down. All women sit down, women sit down, women sit down. It's the South, it's the South. Women sit down. The newest Supreme Court justice will likely agree with me. Gosh, there's still a lot of fellas around, so I think if you're wearing glasses, you're weak. Sit down.
Okay.
Sit down,
We don't need
glasses, you
intellectuals
egghead
here.
intellectuals.
All right.
Sit down. And I
still
think
got
by
10.
intellectuals, I mean globalist. Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folks. Money talks. So I'm curious what folks do for a living. And by folks, I mean a little too dark. Sit down.
Okay.
It's the South. All right. Let's see. White guy. Are you standing? With that hoodie on? Sit the fuck down.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
All right. And I don't know
careful
what
with
you
that.
do for a living, but you can wear a T-shirt to the theater. Sit down.
Okay. We got these two guys.
I like button-down shirts.
Ted, you already played.
Yeah, Ted, you already played. Sit the fuck down. Okay, we got these two guys. What do you do for work? What's your job?
I work at the airport.
You work at the airport. And what do you do for work? You work for the city. Cities are always going to exist, and airports not so much. Sit down.
Okay.
Well, we have done a little bit of voter suppressing, but I'm happy to say there is still one person who can vote. What's your name, sir? Fucker? Is it fucker? Folko? Without fucker.
Fuka.
Oh, fucker.
Oh,
fucker.
Okay.
That's
All right. Well, this is great.
This
so
is fantastic.
It was off the Fuka.
It's just I've flown on a Fokker aircraft before, but I've never met a Fokker.
It's odd that Fuka does not work for the airport.
Yeah, that would have been a delightful coincidence.
Anyway, all right. But
could you get a new job so we can make that joke next time?
Okay. Anyway, so here we go. You get to determine who's going to vote. So you have one vote, and you vote for you. We have 2 votes, and we vote that the beers go to us.
Yeah. So
Yay! Oh, that's great.
Here's the thing.
Well done.
Never be surprised when the people who make the voting rules win the election.
Yeah.
Actually, but every round of applause if you think Fokker should get the beer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, Fokker. Well, I'm playing a Republican, so I don't share, and I'm not scared of Corona.
No, okay. I'm playing the Democrat in this scene, so I don't mind giving away things for free that I did not pay for. So there we go. Applause for Fuka. Well done. You get a beer. Get a Corona beer. Folks.
It is worse without the lime.
Oh, boy.
It's worse without the lime.
We got one more thing?
Got one more thing. But here's the thing. We're almost done with the show, and we want to send you out of here, but we don't want you to leave unless you're excited for Joe Biden. All right?
Then we haven't done our job.
So then we haven't done our job. That's the whole point of the show is we want you excited for Joe Biden. So let me hear one more time. Cheer if you're excited for Joe Biden.
That's better.
Now here's what we're going to do. That's better. We're going to do a Joe chant, all right? Joe. We're going to start quiet, and we're going to get big. So ready? We're going to start quiet. Joe. So this is the real Joe. Now we're thinking about Elizabeth Warren. Get a little bit louder. Joe. Now you're thinking of Bernie Sanders. Joe. Now Obama. Joe. Excited for Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to be excited for Joe. And even if you are not excited for Joe, you have to settle for Joe. Settle for Joe. He's not your Superman. Settle for Joe. He's just so. Settle for Joe.
Hey, that's malarkey, man.
It's Trump or Joe. So settle for Joe.
Folks, we get it. We wanted someone exciting, but Joe Biden, he's ordinary. He's not exciting. He's not your Sunday brunch with friends. He's not Eggs Benedict with avocado toast and champagne. No, Joe Biden is cold cereal. He's Special K.
I also like Special K. I have 3 bowls a day. I call it Special KKK with milk that's extra white, okay? Settle for Joe, he's not your Iron Man. Settle for Joe, you Bernie bro. He's not your bronze, not your gold.
He's not too hot, he's not too cold.
Not too shy, not too bold.
Not too young,
Not too... Oh.
He's old. He's
pretty
pretty
old.
old. Yeah, he's old.
But at least he doesn't tell you to inject yourself with bleach. So settle for Joe!
Folks, we wanted Obama. Obama was a superhero. Joe Biden is not a superhero. He is an average, ordinary guy. He's not the Avengers. He's the Averagers.
The Averagers? Wait, New York is under attack!
Averagers, assemble!
Bruce Banner!
Thor's girlfriend.
Tony Stark's chauffeur!
And Hawkeye.
But wait, that means that Captain America is Joe Biden!
Yes!
From the end of Endgame.
That's fair.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Biden!
Hey there, folks. I'm Joe Biden. I just want to say one time, look, I've been in politics a long time. I'll take your vote if you want me. If you're excited, I'll let you settle for me. You can hold
No
your
one
nose.
wants to
I don't care.
settle.
No, I'm going to tell them about my economic plan. I got an economic plan,
Joe.
folks. And
Why
it's-
are you rating
Laugh
so
and
low,
chuckle.
Joe?
Laugh and smile.
Why does nobody come to your rallies, Joe?
Come on,
Let's talk
Miracle.
about your
Come on,
son,
Miracle.
who is illegal with the mayor of Moscow, and he had a drug problem, and your other son, who died. I'd prefer sons who didn't die.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. Till it will disappear. Till it will disappear. Till it will disappear.
Settle for Joe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Pep Rosenfeld.
Thank you.
Greg Shapiro. On lights and sound, we've got Emil Straka-Bougier and musician Sasha Hudemacher. Thank you. Petey Camry over here helping us out on the live feed.
And
Thank you,
of course, a round of
folks.
applause for our buddies at We Are Live.
We
Straight
Are
up to
Live,
you
yes.
folks at home.
Thank you. All right.
So here's what's going to happen now. Look, the show is nominally over, but the internet goes on forever. So what we're going to do is if folks are interested, if they've got questions or comments, you guys can stay and give them to us live. Folks at home, you can give it to us in the chat. Biddy will tell us what you say. We'll deal with it. We will answer questions. We'll hear your comments. It's going to be a super duper interactive two-way conversation. Biddy, did you ask folks those poll questions? Oh, okay, so we're going to ask you guys poll questions at home. There's 3 questions we're curious about. We're curious what you think too. 1, who is going to win this election? Who's going to win this election? Not who do you want, but who's honestly going to win it. And I don't mean who are there, who wants to vote for one candidate or the other and will get their vote successfully counted. I mean who will actually get their vote counted and win the election. That was a little bit convoluted, but I think you know what I mean. 2, who will win the Senate? Will the Democrats take the Senate or will the Republicans keep the Senate? And question number 3 is, on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is peace and harmony because it's Christmas Day, and 10 is it's the Civil War and we're all fucked, what will the month of January be like in the United States of America? That's my question.
All right, those are 3 poll questions. That's great. Yeah, and now we turn it over to the chat, and we're going to take a seat down here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This has been Lock Him Up. Thank you. All right.
Thank you again. And again, free to stay. This is all part of the fun, or free to go. Our feelings will not be hurt. They'll be hurt just a little. All right. Anything, Biddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Trump will win, but at least 4 more years of comedy gold.
Haha. Yeah, how about that?
But we do have a question from Joel Dallas. Will Kamala be president within 4 years?
Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. And again, I'm answering now not as comedian Greg, but just as someone who reads the news. And I think that is entirely possible or probable. Joe Biden has been cagey. He's been cagey. You know how cagey Joe can be.
When he's in the cage and he's fighting with a fork and 2 knitting needles.
But yeah, Joe Biden hasn't he called himself he'll be a transitional president?
I think he implied he would be a one-term president, but never actually said.
He's never been, yeah, that's the thing. And he can be subtle about it, but
But hang on. But I think what you're talking about is dying, right? You're not talking about quitting. You're talking about dying.
No, I mean, if he gets sick and if he has to step down, I think he would happily hand it over to Kamala Harris. And but that might even be his intention. Haha, I'll go there.
You think yes or no? Greg Shapiro, yes or no? His intention is to hand it over to Kamala Harris midway through the term. Yes or no?
I think it's a smart move.
Ted, what do you think? Yes
Yeah.
or no? Sure. Correct answer is no. Next question.
Okay. Point, counterpoint.
I don't know.
With Pat, yeah, you don't know? All right.
Hey, just for the record, to go back to whoever said 4 years of comedy gold, I have to quote Patton Oswalt, who said that back when Bush was leaving office, that he would trade all of the jokes he made about Bush if the country wasn't on fire, we weren't torturing people, and that back then we thought it was a problem, right? Remember George Bush Jr., where we were like, that guy's bad. It can't get worse than that.
Yeah.
And boy, that magic genie hurt us.
Yeah. And we were making that wish on not a lamp, but on a cursed monkey's paw.
I'll stop for a minute if you want to go get your own beer.
All right, thanks.
Going back to the first question, though, Pep, a lot of people are pretty split on this. Who do you think, Pep Rosenfeld, who do you think will win?
I don't want to. I'm a little superstitious about jinxing things.
It's your question.
I know, but I don't want to jinx things. I'm a little superstitious. The only thing I will say is I think that if everybody who wants to vote voted, and if every vote that is cast is counted, I think Joe Biden would win. But I just don't know how crooked the Republicans can successfully be. They're very good at this, and God knows what will happen on Election Day itself with those poll watchers. So that's me. I'm being cagey because I don't want to answer and
Sure.
and
But if the
jinx
question was like who will win, I think Biden will win, but that doesn't mean that
that's
Trump
fair.
will concede. Trump will never admit defeat. Or at the best case scenario, maybe he'll just say, oh yeah, Joe Biden cheated, I'm going to claim victory, and then like a miracle, he might just disappear. Like he'll just send a mysterious tweet like Dubai is really nice this time of year, and he'll just
And also, there's no extradition to New York.
Yeah.
For my tax
never
problem.
come back. That could happen. If it's normal by the book, that would be surprising. Thank you, Foco. Okay, great.
Oh, that's super helpful.
Awesome.
Do you also have a lime?
Yeah, right. We're good. But what else? More questions? Or from the house? That's fine.
Yeah. How do we feel about influencers being transparent about who they're going to vote for?
As an influencer, how do you feel?
yeah, big influence. I guess I'm pro. I don't see what the problem is. Am I supposed to have a problem with that? Is that a? So I feel like we should get you a microphone is what we should do.
Well, we can
Where's
repeat it
Megan?
quickly.
I know, but if we had Megan with the microphone,
that's true, yeah.
she's just sitting there doing nothing. What's
So your
the
examples were Kim Kardashian and Leonardo DiCaprio. And these are two influencers who have not apparently come forward with, I guess Kim Kardashian would support for president anyone but Kanye.
Hey, but so remember when Taylor Swift finally decided 2 years ago, didn't everybody watch the Taylor Swift documentary? But so Taylor Swift was quiet about her political, views for a while, but then in 2018 she couldn't be quiet anymore, and she came out and came out for Democrats, and I think that's a great thing for her to do. And I guess I'm pro influencers trying to use their influence for something besides, peanut butter, because that's such a thing they do, right? Everybody's tweeting about peanut butter these days. It's all over Insta.
Okay. More?
Do you not think it would be funny, or do you think it would be interesting? Would you vote for Trump just because, given it would be his last term, you just want to see what would happen?
What get the fuck out of here.
All right, so to repeat the question, would we want to vote for Trump just because it would be hilarious, or no?
Because it's his last term, so he might as
Because it's his last term. That's so cute that you think Donald Trump really believes in term limits. Like, it would be his last term. Donald Trump, if he stays for any reason, it will be president for life. And by the way, in a burning bunker with a bullet through his head still counts as for life. So, that's clearly the way this is going.
Hey, for the record, too, he did enough damage when he had an election coming up. You want to see what he does with the fucking gloves off? I feel like what you're doing is saying, hey, if Joker ran for mayor of Gotham City, I'd vote for him because I just want to see what he'd do. I've seen what he's done. I haven't enjoyed his previous work.
Too many Americans seem to vote thinking like the voting machine is like a slot machine. Like, oh, I'm feeling lucky. I just want to shake things up, yeah. And then it's like, oh, jackpot, oh, orange. And then the next thing you know, America is like one of Trump's casinos. It's bankrupt.
For the record, that's why that whole section of the show about we just want someone normal and average, and it's time for Mr. Boring. I'm serious about that. We've had enough excitement. We were a little inspired by Obama. We were terrified by Trump. I'm ready for just Dick Van Dyke from the Dick Van Dyke Show in the 50s.
And by the way, if Trump, if he's not president, he won't shut up. I think he'll still be news for quite a while.
Before we go to your question, I'm curious if there's more in the chat, because I feel like those folks, they're not right in our face, so it's harder. But we're in your face, so fair is fair.
There are a couple more questions. We also have the previous questions to answer because we've got a poll for those. So from the online chat on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 is everyone is happy and 10 being civil war. In what state do you think America will be in by January 2021?
Yeah.
The poll is on a scale from 0 to 10, bullets. Most answers just replied with bullets.
Most people just wrote bullets?
Yep. Yeah.
I keep saying that as well. Sorry. I just can't seem to stop
bullets,
saying
bullets, and then someone said, well, more bullets to be fair.
Wow. And
I think that counts as 10.
And who knows who is posting bullets? I have a feeling it might be, those folks who are planning to kidnap the Democratic governor of Michigan. Those types.
Now, that was just going to be a citizen's arrest, right? It was going to be a citizen's arrest, and then we'd put her on trial.
Sure. Yeah. And
sheriff support. It's a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
You've got to look into it.
I like this question as well. Will the U.S. ever ditch the electoral voting system?
Aha. Okay, that's a wonky question, but we do have an answer.
I think that no chance is the end. No chance it's actually dumped, because that would require a constitutional amendment. and a constitutional amendment would never. It's too many Republicans would have to say. We also agree. Having said that, there's a workaround.
There is. There are 2 workarounds, all right? And yeah, I mean, first of all is the, what is it, interstate pact on voting, forget the, but if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's a plan that if a critical mass of U.S. states would agree to appoint their electors based on the national popular vote instead of their state's popular vote, then we would effectively eliminate the Electoral College. But the other thing that is super interesting to me was an article from the New York Times, and it was called America Needs a Bigger House. If America would expand the House of Representatives to reflect the US population, then we could also redistribute the Electoral College map so it would be at least a bit more fair. And the House of Representatives used to grow with the U.S. population until like 1911, and then it just stopped
Oh, we
because
got
like, we don't have space, we don't have enough room for any more seats. And I think if that's the problem, put more seats in the House of Representatives. I mean, these guys are there for 2 years only anyway. Make it look like an airplane, for God's sake. Just keep slapping seats in there till they're like, yay, nay, I don't, yeah. So I think that's that could be a big game changer.
And then when you're there long enough and you have seniority, you get the like economy, plus seats with a little extra legroom.
Sure, exactly. Give yourself some more space. Yeah. Anyway.
Here's another. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna. I had another poll question I want to ask, but now I forgot what it is. Oh well, it wasn't important.
All right. And let us know, by the way, how many people are on the chat still. But yeah, go
now,
ahead.
now I'm curious what your question was. Or was?
Oh,
it was
yeah,
al- it
sorry.
Was,
Okay,
It,
and then
it was
you're
also
next.
the Electoral College, right?
No, go ahead. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So the question is, 4 years ago, did you expect Trump to be president? And did you? And because she didn't think there was the slightest chance. I didn't think there was. I thought there was no way that he would win.
Yeah.
First, I thought there was no way he'd get the nomination. Then I thought there was no way he would win. And then I have to admit the following: when he won, I was like, well, maybe he won't be terrible. Maybe
Yeah.
he'll learn. Maybe he won't be terrible. He's a person. He's not some evil, mix of like villain plus narcissist plus mad king plus crook plus embezzler plus science denier plus just good old-fashioned asshole. I just didn't think that was going to be the case. And it turned out I was wrong about all 3.
Yeah, right. No, we were totally surprised. And by the way, Trump keeps tweeting about how, they were investigating my campaign, and they say that, it was Obamagate. Obama was wiretapping my campaign, and the thing is, Obama himself was like, no way this guy's gonna win. So to be interested enough in Trump's campaign to wiretap him, he would have thought
on earth
that he might win. And Obama campaign was like, fuck that, no way. Anyway, that's how confident they were. But anyway, sorry, back to online and then one more here.
Great. We have.
This is my question for Americans. Sorry, new poll. Have you voted yet? Yes or no, Americans? And I want to find out from you guys in the room too. But back to the question you're about to read, Biddy. Sorry.
Great. We have one slight comment first, which I found interesting. When you look at American politics as a Dutch person, I suddenly feel so happy about our politicians. Even Wilders feels like a reasonable man.
Oh, yeah. Geert Wilders even feels reasonable compared to, I don't know.
There is something nice about the Dutch system where, like, you got the 10 normal parties and the 10, normal parties, but they never get in a coalition, and then the weird Dutch-only parties. Oh, it's the pirate party, the pedophile party, the party for the animals.
Yeah.
You guys love a good party, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But there's something nice about the nut parties get to have their little nut meetings, and it's out in the open, and, like, there's 4 nuts, and then they're nuts. But they don't convince everyone else to be nuts too.
That is true.
But the way our 2-party system allows itself to be, taken over by nuts.
And so it's interesting that comment was by a Dutch person. And I know a lot of Dutch people who are looking at American politics and like, late Vermaak, I don't know. Like, thank goodness that's not us. And look at Trump, who's just like, I hate immigrants and I don't wear a face mask. And then you look at Mark Rutte, who's like, immigrants, well, I don't love immigrants. And face mask, I don't love face masks. I don't feel like, so actually Rutte's maybe more like Trump. That Trump is just more honest about it, actually. In fact, how did Donald Trump get more Dutch direct than the Dutch? That's a good question.
Yikes.
But more?
Yeah, a couple more. If Trump wins, what are the odds that he will push to enable more than 2 terms?
I think I've already answered that one.
The worst thing is that for Trump to be more than 2 terms legally would require a constitutional amendment, which I don't think can actually happen.
Or removing the Constitution.
But that's the thing. Like, if there's one thing we've learned in the last 4 years, it's the rules don't matter if nobody enforces the rules. So I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I think it'll be like that scene at the end of Revenge of the Sith, you know, where democracy dies and everybody applauds and Natalie Portman cries and what's his name who played Anakin was a douchebag and ruined the movie.
Okay.
That was for you, Mr. Sniffen.
Here we go.
That was for you.
Here's a great one as well. Why do you think so many Republican politicians kneel before Trump?
Nice terminology, by the way. Who was that?
Yeah, Neil.
That was David Foss.
Well done, David Foss. Well done.
I can answer. I mean, a little bit. There's a great Lincoln Project video. Did you share that one? There's like an animation about, oh God, it's called The Walk of Shame, and it's about the Republican elephant who has to like realize like, oh my God, I slept with Donald Trump. So anyway, that's pretty good.
See that. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it's a little animated cartoon. Yeah, why? I mean, it's honestly, it seems like it was just a marriage of convenience for so many Republicans that they're pretty clear about the power grab. Yes, they're getting 3 Supreme Court justices appointed by Trump in just 4 years. I mean, for a lot of people, that's a pretty good deal.
You know, there's something else though, which is that Trump supporters are rabid, and this whole thing of primarying someone, which is like, oh, you're running for Senate and you've had a safe seat for 18 years, but now we're going to run someone who's crazy conservative because Trump supports him and he supports Trump, and you might lose because Trump supporters vote for whoever Trump says to vote for. So I think there was a real I have to kneel before Trump in order to. I see now that this is not at all amusing and only serious.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
But I think there's an honest political thing where they're honestly scared to lose their jobs because somehow keeping their jobs is more important than the good of the country.
And to jump on that point, I mean, if it gets to the point where Republicans are feeling like, it's my job first, basically, and if until this point, it seems like, safer to support Trump because then I could keep my job. But as soon as Trump becomes toxic enough that, actually I'm going to lose my job if I keep supporting him, that's when that might be happening already. So there are enough headlines saying Republicans are openly nervous about their own seats in November because they're attached to Trump. So if you don't like Trump, there's plenty of good news to focus on. We have one more question from the Zal. Can we go to, yes, hello. Do we think Trump will get locked up? Oh, do we think he'll get really locked up? Thank you. Yes, let's get a close-up on that fan of Boom Chicago. Thank you for your support over the years.
Can I say that when he was positive for COVID and people were like, do you want him to die? And I was like, absolutely not. I want him to go to jail in New York. I want him to live to see jail.
For a president, I mean, look, even for our conservative watchers out there, and I know you've tuned out by now, but if you are someone, because I got asked this the other day by a fairly right-wing publication, you hate Trump so much, why do you hate Trump so much? And I had to actually, mind meld into my conservative, value system. And I thought about law and order, right? And a lot, that's important, authority and law and order and respect for authority. And for a president who talks a lot about law and order, he is undermining the rule of law. And the best thing that could happen is if we could reinstate the rule of law. And the best way would be to lock him up, actually. So,
if he loses and he doesn't leave the country to a place where there's no extradition, I mean, he could go to jail in New York, right? Like, who's going to pardon him? No one.
Well.
I mean, that you want to see some, pitchforks and gunfire in the streets? That would do it. Donald Trump gets put in jail.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think I had that dream once, and I woke up with sticky sheets.
Oh man. Is it possible that, even if Trump loses after the election, what if he says, I'm retiring, I'm resigning, and then Mike Pence becomes president between November 3rd and January 20th, specifically so that Pence can pardon Trump.
Can't get him off the New York State
That
crime,
could happen. Yeah,
motherfucker.
no, right, exactly. Yeah, Southern District of New York, do your thing. Anyway,
I could run for governor of New York. I'm Mike Pence, and I earnestly want to run for governor of New York so I can pardon Donald Trump twice. Fucking prick.
and by pardon, yeah, anyway, his Pence is better than I would think.
It's better than my Biden.
But, yeah.
It's unfortunate, but true.
Yeah, we have, they got Al Capone for tax evasion.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
They sure did.
Tax, yeah. I
sure
mean,
did.
Do people remember that movie from the 80s? It was The Untouchables with Elliot Ness. And yeah, that's how they got Al Capone. Was not by killing people or by drug running or guns or whatever. It was tax evasion, and that's how they brought him down. So indeed, if you're following the right, like I personally follow electoralvote.com and
Good site.
electoral-vote.com.
It's an inconveniently named good site.
Yeah. But anyway, they're a news aggregator as well as a lot of like commentary. So they are following this story about Cyrus Vance Jr. in the Southern District of New York, and there's this one lawyer in New York City who's like, "Oh, we hate Donald Trump so much," and they're going after his tax records. They have his tax records. Like, it is really not good for like business-wise. Running for president was the dumbest thing Trump could ever do.
No. Being elected president was the dumbest thing. Running for president was great.
Yeah.
Right? He gets a brand, he gets a TV station. It would have been great for him.
Yeah.
I don't know whose turn it is, the House or the chat.
Anyone in the house have any questions?
Or comments.
Yeah, here.
Out of curiosity.
That's a great question.
So I thought that Elizabeth, that's a great question. I thought that she was smarter than everybody, and I thought that she honestly did have a plan for everything, and I thought that she wanted to take on, big banks and big companies, and I think they need to be taken on. But more than that, I think she's real good at explaining stuff. And I feel like that's a real important thing in a president in America. Like, I think one of Bill Clinton's great talents, besides molesting people and getting away with it, was explaining things in a way that people could understand it.
The explainer in chief.
He was, and he'd say like, "Well, no, I don't think that's true. I'm gonna tell you why." That was my favorite phrase of his, and I'm gonna tell you why. And then he would.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like she could explain big, complicated concepts.
Yeah.
Because we need big, complicated things, and Americans, unfortunately, are not so good at big and/or complicated.
And I would also say that Elizabeth Warren is a great reason that we didn't touch on in the show. But for a lot of people who are still cold on Biden, or for whatever reason, like it should have been Bernie or whatever, Elizabeth Warren is a great reason to still vote for the Democrats, because if the Democrat, whoever it is, it's Biden, gets to be president, of course Elizabeth Warren is going to get a big position in the cabinet. Maybe she'll be Secretary of Treasury. Maybe she'll be, whatever, education. So, goodbye student debt and reinvent education in America. What about, going after the big business companies and, breaking up big tech, taking on big pharma? So many generational problems would at least get addressed, and if she's on the case, and I think Elizabeth Warren would be great.
Hard agree.
Whatever position she gets.
Hard agree.
I hope that helps.
I have a kind of a two-parter, but from two different people in the chat, but kind of in the same realm. First one is, what is the chance, if Trump does win, a Trump dynasty will emerge starring Donald Jr. and Ivanka?
They're excellent. It's an excellent chance.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
an excellent chance. I like to think it would be starring Ivanka and Don Jr. I think Ivanka's the one that's been groomed for it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a great book called Hiding in Plain Sight by Sarah Kendzior, who's someone that used to write about authoritarian governments. Like, she lived over in the stands and would write about authoritarian governments. And
like Belarus as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And she's been saying, she predicted Trump would get the nomination. She predicted he would win, and then she's been saying for 4 years, here's how it's going to happen, and everything she said has come true.
Yeah.
She's
like, I wish I was wrong.
Yeah, I wish I was wrong. And that's one of the things she says, is that autocrats always groom their kids for a couple reasons. One is it's easy, but two is when it's all about kleptocracy and stealing money for yourself, kids are a great place to launder money. You can trust them. I mean, the same reason that immigrant families, you know, who run a small business trust their kids at the cash register is why Donald Trump trusts Ivanka and Don Jr., and probably not Eric, to do the family corruption.
Wait. Oh, so this was a follow-up, actually, and this was a little a lower item on electoralvote.com the other day. But the question was, why do so many working class Democrats support Donald Trump? And they call them the Obama-Trump voters, right? And arguably, yeah, and it's easy to say, oh, they're racist, but they're, okay. There was two guys who did some research, like long-term research in these communities from Iowa to, I don't know, but anyway, it's where Democratic, like political power bosses used to be in charge. And it wasn't Republicans, it was the Democrats. And this is the way the Democratic Party was run for years and years. We come from Chicago. We grew up with Mayor Daley, Richard J. Daley, who had his like political clout machine, and it was all about family. Who was the mayor after Richard J. Daley? You know, it was his son. Was Richie, the son. So, I mean, it was all about, you know, kleptocracy. It was about keeping the power in the family. And so, indeed, Trump represents the, you know, family values of a lot of the communities where the white working class voters live in America.
Was that part one or part two?
Yeah.
All right, part two is going to be the last question. We're going to wrap it up with part two. Wrap it up with part two.
Part two is, how do you think Melania is feeling about this election?
How do you think Melania is feeling about anything? Wow.
I mean, if it's Christmas, I know she doesn't give a fuck.
Yes, right. I don't give a fuck about Christmas.
I think it's so not fair that people yelled at her for that, because the classic Slovenian Christmas song.
Oh yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the Christmas stuff, the Christmas stuff, the Christmas stuff. Who gives a fuck about the Christmas stuff, the Christmas stuff and decoration? Yeah, so I think it wasn't fair.
And then, I don't know, if for extra credit, our technician wants to show her Christmas decorations that she came up with, it was like...
Emil, is that accessible to you?
Yeah, maybe not, but yeah. Like red Christmas trees, really? Red Christmas trees decking the halls of the White House, making it look like either the gates of hell or the mouth of a Muppet. Anyway, it was amazing.
I think Melania, I don't know what's in it for. I guess I think she'd like for it all to end, and then she could go back to her old life of posing naked.
It was so simple then.
It was so simple then.
Anyway, yeah. Well, right. So our mission now was to make sure that the people's questions from the chats got answered.
Well, anyway. And we want to thank you guys for coming. And I want to tell you all that we're going to be doing the show a bunch of times until that we know. Oh, is that? Yeah. Look at it. Like, it looks like the devil's teeth, right? Like it's like abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Also, Merry Christmas.
Or a car wash.
Nicely done, Emil. So if you've got folks that like politics, hate Trump, or some Venn diagram mix of the two, send them here. We'd love to have them here. We're going to do the show up until we know who the next president is. So, definitely up until election night, and after that, who knows?
Yeah, we'll just keep going. All right. Thank you, guys. Applause for all of your comments.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And all
thanks
of your
for sticking around. Thanks for being part of the show.
And thanks to We Are Live one more time. Thank you guys for joining us.
We're going to awkwardly go now.